Cases spiking nationwide. A new emergency order is now in place in New York. Travelers coming in from 19 states on the restricted list now have to provide contact information when they arrive in New York before they can get quarantined for 14 days here. If they fail to provide that information, they could be fined $2,000. Also today, Governor Cuomo unveiled a state formula to open schools this fall. They must be in phase 4 and have an infection rate below 5% over 14 days. If that rate spikes, classroom doors will be closed again. News 4's Andrew Siff is live on the Upper West Side right now with reaction tonight. Andrew.
Right, Chuck, there are 1,800 school buildings in New York City like this one. They all have to produce their own reopening plan by the end of July, and then the governor will make the decision about opening. And today, as you indicated, the governor said it's all about the percentage of positives in the coronavirus tests, and right now, that would allow the green light at the moment. Two schools of thought on reopening New York City classrooms this fall.
Remote learning is very difficult, but it's our best option right now.
I know it'll be very difficult, but it is my hope that they will reopen.
The final decision belongs to Governor Andrew Cuomo, who today announced new criteria for the call he'll make in August.
It's not do we reopen or not. You reopen if it is safe to reopen.
Based on COVID testing percentage. If the percentage of those tested in any school district is below 5%, the schools get a green light. If the percentage goes above 9% before opening day, red light, and they stay closed.
Because if the number's going up, the number goes up. And if the number goes over 5, you hit the red emergency button.
To reduce the chance of that emergency, today the governor also ratcheted up that quarantine for travelers from high COVID states. Now mandatory that passengers register with the Port Authority when they land here. At JFK today, Walter picked up his mother-in-law, Anna, from Florida, knowing she'd have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's great. I think it should, because any place with a high risk, they should be quarantined.
As for the school uncertainty, the city also re-emphasized guidance that masks would be mandatory indoors if social distance can't be maintained. Fifth grader Lucy told us that would be fine with her.
I would do that as long as I could go to school. I would do anything to go to school right now.
Boy, a lot of kids agree with Lucy, but there's a sobering reality in other states. Just today, Los Angeles and San Diego school districts decided they will close this fall and be remote learning only. Live on the Upper West Side, Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
All right, Andrew, thank you. And we do have some more good news today for some parents in the 5 boroughs. The city's child care centers are now open again. However, as you can expect, it's not exactly business as usual. The face masks are required and capacity is limited to 15 kids per room.
Well, new guidance now from Mayor de Blasio on wearing face coverings here in the city. His team is now recommending you wear one inside even when social distancing is possible. And that means at work and in large spaces. The exception is inside your own home.
And ridership, Chuck, is up on New Jersey Transit, so now the capacity limits are being lifted. Governor Phil Murphy signed an executive order lifting 50% capacity limits, so this will go into effect Wednesday at 8 p.m. It applies for buses, trains, light rail, and access link vehicles. Again, masks are required. Governor Cuomo has criticized President Trump today, comparing what he called a COVID scandal to Watergate. The governor said it makes the scandal that forced President Nixon from office look, quote, innocent, and claims that President Trump is putting politics above public health. I want to bring in News 4's Stephen Holt live in the studio with this story. Also, Stephen, the new questions the president is facing about his own health team.
That's right, Natalie. In particular, Dr. Anthony Fauci. White House officials casting doubt on their own infectious disease expert, saying he's made a lot of mistakes. Today, Governor Cuomo alluded to that icy relationship with the president and Dr. Fauci as he offered a blistering critique, accusing the federal government of gross negligence.
They caused the problem, and then they said you're on your own.
Governor Cuomo blasting the president, calling the COVID-19 response one of the worst federal blunders in history, even comparing it to Nixon's Watergate scandal.
Nobody died in the Watergate scandal. Thousands of people are going to die in this COVID scandal.
New York recording declines in hospitalizations and only 10 COVID-related deaths in the last 24 hours. Cases are spiking in other states, and Governor Cuomo says President Trump isn't taking the crisis seriously.
The first mistake brought it from Europe to New York. The second mistake will bring it from Georgia to New York and Texas to New York and Arizona to New York. New York did nothing wrong. It was the federal government.
The president wasn't asked today about the governor's comments, but he did answer a question about Dr. Anthony Fauci and whether or not his administration is trying to discredit its own infectious disease expert.
Well, I have a very good relationship with Dr. Fauci. I've had for a long time, right from the beginning. I find him to be a very nice person. I don't always agree with him.
President Trump is agreeing with former game show host Chuck Woolery. The president retweeting Woolery, who accused the CDC of lying and without evidence, claiming it's all about the election and keeping the economy from coming back. The White House press secretary insisted the president still has confidence in the CDC.
The president, with his intent in that retweet, expresses displeasure with the CDC, some rogue individuals leaking guidelines prematurely.
Governor Cuomo not buying it.
If the president is telling the truth, you know what he should do? He should fire them. He should fire them. You know what I would do if I believed my health commissioner was lying? I would fire him.
White House says Dr. Fauci is still a part of the coronavirus task force and that his voice is one of many. We're still waiting to hear if the White House or the president will offer a response to Governor Cuomo tonight. Natalie?
All right, Stefan, thank you.